Jungkook was in the shower when Wine was getting ready for the evening event at their home. Their wedding took place after Jungkook's choice. He found Wine and selected her for himself, whereas for Wine it was an arranged marriage. A part of Wine was scared of him, since he was really scary with others and sometimes it reflected in his actions. But other part was really comfortable and most likely to be falling for him. He treated her so nicely and with love. She wore the dress he himself selected for her, and she couldn't help but praise his choice. The shower running in the background stopped, and he stepped out of the bath in a bathrobe. Jungkook walked towards her, his eyes took in his wife, dressed in his choice. Jungkook, something about you makes me want to cancel the event. He tilted his head and turned her towards him, his fingers sensually grazing against her waist and her cheek as he admired her beauty. He leant in and kissed her, which she returned, red adoring her cheeks, and she held onto his bathrobe tightly. Jungkook was never interested in ladies of his circle. It was Wyan who caught his attention at the first sight. She was young and naive, really innocent, and something about it only made him want to protect her more. He pulled back and she looked down shyly. Jungkook, cute. He held her hand and took her to the couch, making her sit. Grabbing her heels, he knelt before her, and very gently he helped her wear them. She bit her lower lip. It would be a shocking sight for the world to see the John Jungkook kneeling on his knees for a woman. But it was the woman of his choice. He sworn to treat like a queen. Kissing her leg once, he stood up and left to get ready himself, while she took her time trying to calm her racing heart. Wine. I was scared of him for nothing. Once the two were ready, they went down the lobby. The event taking place in their own home, it was not too long since their wedding. His business partners congratulating him for his success and his wedding. It went on like that while she stuck to his side. Jungkook excused himself for a little, going over to a group of men, and she went to restroom to give herself a little break. She was not used to these things at all. She blushed when she remembered all those times he raised her heartbeat, acting like a complete gentleman. Wine. Oh God, I always wanted a prince. How come I ended up with a vicious villain? She snapped out of her thoughts when she heard the lock click behind her and turned around instantly. One of Jungkook's guards she saw a few times enter. Wine, what are you doing here? It's ladies' washroom. Marco, my apologies. I think I mistook it. He was not sorry at all as he advanced towards her. She stepped back and was about to scream when he put his hand over her mouth and held her against him securely. He was a well built man, and Wine stood no chance before him. Marco, do you know how you drive me wild every time you appear in front of me? She tried to scream and set free, but it was of no use with his hand blocking her voice. Marco, trust me, you don't want to do that. Your husband trusts me a little too much, and it wouldn't be hard for me to punch a bullet through his skull. She froze on her spot with wide eyes. He smirked and slowly moved his hand off her mouth. Marco turned her around and captured her in between him and the counter. Marco, if you tell him or he gets the slightest idea about it, I'm going to kill him before he can lay his hands on me. I have the power to do that, so how about you be good girl and listen to me? It was working on her, and he loved every bit of it. Jungkook really had an innocent wife for him, and it was the biggest target in the kind of world they were living in. He kissed her jaw, and she whimpered, moving her head away, while her eyes teared up and his hands slid all over her body. Marco, I'll see you soon. He winked, leaving the restroom, and Ryan breathed out heavily, tears slipping out of her eyes and her hands shaking out of fear. She received a text from Jungkook, who was asking where she was. Now she understood why he always had his eyes on her. It was to protect her because he was very well aware of the world he was living in. She took a few minutes trying to calm down and went down finding him instantly. Ryan, I'm sorry. It took a little time in washroom. Jungkook, are you okay? He tilted his head. It didn't take him a second to know something was wrong. Ryan, I'm okay. I almost slipped. It was scary. Jungkook, be careful next time, princess. His arm went around her waist, and the two stayed till the event ended. Ryan, Jungkook took her attention as the two were now back in the bed after the event, and she was zoned out. Jungkook, something happened while I was gone. She smiled and kissed his cheek, snuggling in his embrace. I told you what happened. There is nothing else. Her heart broke. She never lied to him before. Jungkook, you must tell me anything and everything. Nothing shall restrict you from it. The next 3 days went by. She didn't see Marco, and she was really glad about it. She was returning home after meeting her friend. The car suddenly stopped, and she looked up the book she was reading. Her heartbeat got wild, finding Marco in the driving seat, and he was looking at her with lustful eyes. She tried to grab her phone, but Marco snatched it away. Marco, I was dearly waiting for this day. To be continued.